So the internet tells us there is a holiday pretty much every day of the year, but one of those little known holidays bubbled up that we felt was worth celebrating. Today is National Weatherperson Day. And we know a few of those around here, and we really like them too. So I jumped at the opportunity to interview one of my favorite people in celebration. Take a look. Happy National Weatherperson Day.
Thank you, Brooke Walker. It's so nice to be recognized.
Did you know it was National Weatherperson Day?
I had no idea it was National Weatherperson's Day until you told me, and then I thought, man, thanks for reminding me.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Sure.
Would you like flowers or chocolate? What would be your choice?
Neither. I don't need any recognition on National Weatherperson's Day.
What do you love most about your job, Kev?
I love the fact that it changes every day.
Yeah.
It's always different, and it impacts everybody.
Yeah.
There's not anybody that doesn't have to deal with whatever the weather conditions are going to be that day. And so that's always fascinating me from a really young age. You know my family, you know my father, you know the relationship. He talked about weather all the time, and he had such a love and passion for weather. As a kid, I was like, oh, enough, Dad, enough. But as I got older, I realized everyone loves, it's that default small talk that if you're in the most awkward of situations, you default back to, yeah, kind of crazy, the drought or the rain or the snow or the cold or the warm or whatever it is. So it's kind of that common thread that connects everybody.
Now you are very positive. I love that about you, and you're good to deflect the attention. But I really want you to answer this question: what's the hardest part about your job?
You want to get it right every time.
Yeah.
And so you work really hard to try to get it right. And weather in general is predictable, but it's one of the most unpredictable things around. So we give our very best effort, but the truth, the hardest part is trying to get it right. We want to get it right. We know that people plan their drives around snow coming to the canyon, or is it going to rain, and vacations and weddings and all those other things. And so that's the hardest part, is trying to get it right for the public, because we know they count on it.
There's some natural curiosities about weather. I think people also have their natural curiosities about TV. So you put those two together, and there's a couple of questions that come to mind, like the clicker. People are always asking about the clicker. Like, do you advance your own graphics, or how does that happen? What's the magic that's happening?
It's so funny you say that, because our morning meteorologist, Matt Johnson, and our weekend meteorologist, Kristen Van Dyke, and our newest meteorologist, Devin Mashuli, all use a clicker.
They like the control.
They like the control. I have a producer behind the scenes. His name is Keith Merrill. He's been with us forever and ever, decades and decades. I like him to push the button for me.
Because why?
I like having both hands free, and he knows my flow, and he actually uses the clicker to time me. So I only have 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Well, he knows the clicker pace. So if he advances, he's going to finish on time no matter what. So even if I'm still talking about something and he hits the button, I know in order to stay on time, I need to keep going.
Okay.
So I use it as kind of a default. I like the hands-free, but I also know that he can keep me on time if he's the one advancing.
I have stood by you on enough floats to know you're asked about the weather a lot.
Everywhere I go.
On average, how many times a day do you think you are asked about the weather?
5 to 10 times a day.
And on those days when you don't want to be asked about the weather, you just have to answer. I mean, I know that, but what goes through your head? Like,
honestly,
come on.
I don't think there's ever a day that I don't want to hear about the weather. Like, and I mean that sincerely. It's, you and I have known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
You are as genuine and as kind off camera as you are on camera. So if people start to talk to you about your life or other things, you just organically, naturally respond.
Yeah.
It's the same way for weather for me. It's just part of the deal. So you just go, yeah, it's awesome, or hey, yeah, this is what's coming. And if it's part of who you are, it's never a bother. And so that's never been an issue for me. People ask and go, oh, I bet you get sick and tired of that. It's like, I don't. I mean, don't talk to me about stocks. Don't ask me about sports. Don't ask me about politics, but I can definitely talk to you about the weather.
What else might surprise us about your job, or surprise someone about the life of a weather person or a meteorologist?
Well, first off, I don't know if it would surprise you. I pride myself. Number one, KSL is such a fun place to work.
Yeah.
And we have the best meteorologists, and I don't mean accolades or accomplishments or degrees. They have all those things. They're just the best people.
They're good people.
They're just kind and honest and integritous and hardworking, and they love meteorology and they love forecasting.
And they love the state, I've noticed. They love the area.
Yeah, and so we've worked really hard to go get meteorologists that get it, that love being here and love forecasting here, and that are really genuinely good people.
Don't you feel that genuine goodness from Kevin and, yes, his team. One other thing he said that may surprise you, not about Kevin in particular, but weather people, generally speaking, is that the negative feedback does impact them. They're human. And Kevin joked, if you hate my tie, I'm sorry. But he pointed out that negative feedback, that feedback is good, constructive criticism is good, but the negative tone or the angry messaging that sometimes comes in serves no one, and there are humans on the receiving end of those emails. So we love Kevin Eubank around here, and we were grateful to celebrate him and the KSL weather team on National Weatherperson Day. Happy day.